So today I'm working on installing an over-the-range microwave, and I figured I'd show you guys how to do it. So the first step is definitely read the directions. This is something I don't do all the way through sometimes and regret it. So that's what I'm doing right now, but I'll walk you through step by step as I go through this and show you how to get it done. The first thing I want you to do is to take these screws out of this cover here. So I'm gonna do that right away. The next thing the directions tell you to do is to measure your opening here that your microwave is going to sit in, and it should at least be 30 inches, and mine's like right over 30 inches, and it wants you to mark a center line. And that center line that you mark is what you're going to line up your template center line to. Let's see, where's that? Oh, yeah, you can see it there. That C's at. So I did that, transferred it onto the wall, and then now I'm going to tape up my template. All right, now I've got my wall template taped up there, and I made sure I took special care to line up my center line here. You can't really tell, I had two center lines because I got off on the first one, but right back, that little dot was my true center line. And then up top, I made a mark on the cabinet at my other center line. And then I just used some painter's tape to tape this up so I didn't pull any paint off the wall when I took them back down. Now you just line up your bracket that came with your microwave. And from reading the instructions, it said that it is really important you get at least one screw through to a stud. So it advised me to do that in area E, which would be in either holes A or B. Here, I happen to have a stud where I've marked these, let's see, you can see here, where I've marked these little X's. I took a stud finder and I found I have a stud here and I have a stud here. So I actually have two wall studs. I'm gonna screw into a stud there. I'm fortunate, this is a building on Main Street, so I don't have to use a drywall toggle bolt, which is what they recommend for the areas you don't have a stud. I can actually drill through to the block wall back behind this drywall and put in a Tapcon. So, but if you just have if you're mounting this in a normal kitchen, not a commercial building, you're probably gonna have to use a toggle bolt for the holes you do not have studs. They want it secured with 3 screws. One of them has to hit a stud. Next thing you're gonna do is you're going to run your wood screws into the studs that you found, at least one. And I had 2 here. And then I used a Tapcon for my third one and went into the block wall behind me. But you will use the toggle bolts that they sent in your microwave if you don't have a block wall behind. Once you get your bracket mounted on the back, the next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna go to the top of the cabinet and prepare that for the cord to come into the upper cabinet. There is a second template that you could tape up there. Since I'm not ducting this outside and I'm just gonna use it through the recirculation portion, the only thing I needed to cut out on the top side was for my cord to come up into the cabinet. So I held that template up there and I just poked a hole into the bottom of the cabinet to mark my spot right here. And it has it marked for a 2-inch hole. So I got a hole saw here, 2-inch. I'm gonna go ahead and just drill this spot out in the cabinet for my cord. Now, what did I tell you about reading the instructions, guys? You got to do it. So it turns out I do need this taped up here because I forgot I have holes I need to drill through the upper cabinet for bolts that will attach to the microwave to hold it in place. That's my bad. I would read the instructions. Good idea. I'm gonna do that now. I got it taped up here. I'm gonna drill these holes. All right, moment of truth. We've got our back mounting plate installed. We put the top template on and I drilled my holes. One disclaimer, so this thing is sent in the box for recirculating. So it'll suck in your air and just recirculate it through a carbon filter and blow it back out in the room. If you wanna duct that outside, you did need to cut out off of that template a hole for the ductwork up here. I didn't do that. I'm just going to recirculate it. So you have to read that portion of the instructions if you plan to do that. And then I did drill my holes. You can see there's a hole there and 2 holes here off of the template, and my hole here. This is for the electrical wire to run up through here and plug into my outlet. And these 3 holes right there, there, and here are for these screws right here. They're gonna run through the top of these holes like that, and they're gonna tighten into the top of the microwave. So I got my wife gonna help me set this up in here, and don't have a tripod to set up and record this while I'm doing it, so I'll show you once I get it in. But this microwave has tabs on it, that or holes in it that these tabs are gonna slide in. So we'll hoist this microwave up in place, set it on these tabs, and then as we slide it back into place, we're gonna run that power cord up that hole. And then she's gonna steady it from down below, and I'm going to insert these screws into these holes into the top of the microwave. Wish us luck. Well, there's the finished product, guys. A little bit of sweat, not so much blood. There were some tears, but here we are. Microwave is up and running, it's plugged in. The fancy light works on it. Looky there. One step closer to our kitchen.